think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not trust friends.
But only if I personally profited from them would I consider it.
I would like to be like Jeremy Irons at the end of the third Die Hard movie when, he's like talking about which country they want to buy. I think that's where you want to be in life. You know what I'm talking about? He's got his mercenaries. Oh, man. Jeez, you haven't watched Die Hard with a Vengeance in a long time, have you?
No, but I have actually a Die Hard box set if it makes you feel better about my commitment to Die Hard.
Oh, no, nobody's questioning your commitment to Die Hard, James. That's not, it's just, you just haven't seen, you just didn't remember that stray comment by Jeremy Irons at the end of that movie. Whereas
I actually didn't remember that Jeremy Irons was the bad guy in that movie, and now I'm having an itch.
Oh boy, spoilers. That one's the best. I remember we went to the theater to see that, and you didn't go into that movie like Die Hard with a Vengeance. You went to go see whatever Batman movie was on play at the time. And
I did. And you went to see Die Hard as opposed to?
Yeah. And I very easily won in terms of so 1995. What Batman movies?
Oh no.
Yeah.
How do you? First of all, how do you remember that? That would have been Batman and Robin.
Ooh, and this is Batman Forever, actually. But it is Batman and Robin. You're right. Yeah, it does have Robin. You're not wrong.
But I thought it was Batman and Robin with George Clooney. But it would have been Batman Forever with Val Kilmer.
Yeah. So you went to. Go ahead.
No, nothing. When did Batman and Robin with George Clooney come out then?
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get that answer pretty quickly. 1997, I'm going to guess, maybe. I'm scrolling as fast as I can here, pal.
Well, they were feeding us real shit back then, right at our peak age.
Yeah. Well, I'll say not me because I didn't. As I was saying, I didn't go to this.
Yeah.
I went to go see.
I gotta tell you, you really, really came out on the top end of that choice.
Yeah, and I said so at the time, and then in your typical shithead fashion, you were like, I was like,
oh, no way.
Yeah, no way, man. This is a great detective movie. And I was like, because the thing about Die Hard with a Vengeance, it's actually a very good superhero movie. Like, it's a good sort of Batman and Riddler story. It even has riddles in it, right? And quests that they have to go on and that kind of thing. And he holds the city hostage. And it was ironic or fitting that it was placed literally side by side in the movie theater with an actual Riddler story, and it came out easily on top.
Well, yeah, because Jim Carrey was the Riddler.
Yeah, good old Jim Carrey though. That's still a good choice for something. I don't know if we need a Riddler that needs to be like that. It was a weird time, and Schumacher was a fucking animal.
Yeah, well, he must have been on something because that was awful.
That's an interesting question. I mean, just to look at him, I don't think he needs drugs. I think he looks like a plastic human. Oh my goodness! Wow, in 2003, he literally looks like he's made out of plastic on this Wikipedia image. And his shirt's not buttoned up in the slightest. He's an older fella at this point. He died. He died at the beginning of. In 2020. Oh man, we didn't even.
Wonder if COVID got him.
It's possible, man. June 22nd, 2020. One can only hope.
How old was he?
He was 80. Oh, it was the cancer. It's always the cancer. Fuck.
I mean, 80 is good enough.
Yeah. But just inevitably, whenever hey, that guy's dead. I wonder what happened. Cancer. I don't even know why I bother to look.
Yeah, that is a bit of a bummer. He's single-handedly responsible for the two shittiest Batman movies and two shittiest Batmen.
Yeah, there's a project for us. I mean, we obviously talk a lot of Batman on this podcast. Maybe at some point we need to review all the old shitty Batman movies. Find out. Oh God, no, I don't want to do it.
No. I'm actually looking at George Clooney with a dead serious face and humongous cod piece and nipples on his bat suit, just looking like a fucking maniac.
Yeah. I kind of want to watch this one, the Batman Forever.
Why would anyone put nipples on the bat suit?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was
We
going on.
finally know why he put nipples on the bat suit. Oh well. Apparently there's a lot of lore.
Oh, did they do anything? Well, anyway. You want to talk about some sort of other Batman related story, James?
Yeah, I would. Way better than bat nipples.
Let's talk about. Is it better than the bat nipples? The audience, you can decide.
So.
Okay, well, I'm not even quite sure anymore. Hi, everybody. It's James and James Extinction Agenda. Today we're back to the Jeff Loeb well, and we're here to see whether explore the Jim Lee effect with Batman Hush. Hush.
Yep. This is a big collection as well.
It is. I bought this 20th anniversary thing, this deluxe edition fella. I like the little bits at the back.
Sad about?
Oh, well, we'll get into maybe by the end of this conversation I'll be a little less sad. I think I'm always happy to see Jim Lee sketch stuff. Like as we were getting ready to chat today, I was actually watching some YouTube footage of him just sketching because he does these on Twitch. I guess he does these live streams and collects money somehow for charity.
That's cool.
Yeah, this was about 5 years ago. I don't know if he's still doing it anymore, but anyway, it was just nice to see him draw Batman. Talk about his life a little bit, respond to questions. He's a good dude. I mean, I really can't. I love Jim Lee.
There's nothing you can say about Jim Lee's a saint. You can't say negative things about Jim Lee.
I'm sure someone out there has some negative things to say, but I don't.
I don't so.
I don't know those people. I don't want to know those people. I'll tell you right now. What the fuck do they have to do with me? Nothing. So I wouldn't even know how to strike up a conversation with those assholes. That said, though, I don't like this book.
So you didn't care for this. You didn't care for this. Opened up straight. What you didn't like the heads up display mercenary scene at the beginning? That was cool.
Well, okay, yeah. So we said this was a Jeff Loeb. We got the Scott Williams, we got Alex Sinclair. It's the usual crew doing all this stuff. No, I didn't. I thought it was actually really stupid and unintelligible because you spend 5 pages like not showing Batman. Like everybody knows what Batman looks like. Like this isn't so it's like, oh, he's off panel and we're seeing him, we're doing these precision strikes, and I can't tell what the fuck's happening on the page because it's all green. And the action is just like a wash in green, and I literally can't see what's like. I have to stop and think about it. But then even when I do, I'm like, what the fuck? How is he punching him there? What is that? And then it's slowly, they break to the explosion, the door opens, the kid's scared, the shadow's there, and then it's a shitty picture of Batman.
The lumbering brute comes around the corner.
Yeah, but it's there's a lot of Frank Miller homage in, throughout this, as you would expect, but not to Jim Lee's credit, I don't think. I don't think that's the sort of Batman that he's good at drawing.
No, and actually, I think he goes back into his wheelhouse because Batman gets smaller and smaller by the end of the book.
I think so. I mean, he's always.
I'm not sure if you picked up on that, but
yeah. Well, it's difficult to say he's smaller when his biceps are the size of my head, but he is getting. Yeah, you're right though. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just it's easy.
Big Hoss here in the first issue.
Yeah. And throughout, maybe that brain surgery fucking lost a little weight.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, that's nice continuity.
Yeah, maybe that was it. How did Batman lose all that
He
brawn?
lost 15 pounds of muscle.
Yeah. So that opening bit, because I did the thing and I was like, how does this thing open? And like, I think the book got better as it went. The panels became clearer, the action, better. And it's not a surprise, like Jim Lee hadn't drawn anything in a good long time prior to this. And he says that in the little bit that I was watching, that Mike Carlin, an old editor, I think it was a Superman editor or an old Marvel editor or something, he bet Jim that he couldn't do a monthly book anymore. He bet him $100. And so Jim took that bet.
Took him, did himself a monthly book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just checking out the first appearance of the Catwoman and the Ivy there that shows up. That's mostly just butts and lips.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? Yeah.
Nice touch.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, I don't have any complaints about that. Strangely, not sure.
Now his poison
not sure why.
Catwoman. Jim Lee's art of the female is well honed, well recorded.
It is.
History.
Yeah. Well, when the annals of history will be written at some point, like that might be what he was best remembered for. Hot babes. So okay, this book. We can get into the specifics or whatever, but I mean, like, it suffers from the same Long Halloween problem, man. Like, it's a shitty mystery where Batman sucks. And
it's a shitty mystery where Batman sucks. In addition to Batman sucking, there's no possible way for you to guess the mystery because of the dumb mechanics that are used.
Yeah. And then, like, the one explanation that could have been given, which is sort of like literally put forward as red herring, one of many red herrings, is actually, no, maybe not one of many, but like definitely a big red herring. Would have been far more satisfying. I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to it. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I want to hold everybody in suspense, like fucking Jeff Loeb over here, wizard that he is.
Yeah, jerk me off right to the last fucking book.
So yeah, okay. So I've been negative. We opened up our conversation earlier about being overly negative. We should find what's the positive here? We got the Jim Lee. What else we got? What's going on here?
I like that Batman's so clumsy that somebody cuts his bat line and gives him a fucking brain hemorrhage.
That sounds like more complaining to me.
That's a huge bat fuck up. Yeah. I really like his mask that gassed that guy from touching him. That was sweet. Haven't seen that move before.
Yeah, there's a lot of I do like that there's lots of
there's a bit of
gizmoing.
Gizmoing. Yeah,
that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
That's the word.
No, because I was thinking specifically, he jumps in the water later on when Superman shows up, and his little bat booties have jets on them, like water jets. It's on his little breather mask.
Yeah, he's got a respirator. He's really and he doesn't bring it up either. Doesn't talk about it. He's just low key prepared for everything, except his bat rope being cut.
Yes, and everything else in the story. There's a base similarly with the Long Halloween or whatever. Batman, he's not completely incompetent, which makes it all the more frustrating. I think so. When this book came out, it's 12 issues, Batman 608 to 619, December 2002 to November 2003. And I remember I sent you some screenshots of what else is on the stand at this time. So we're well past Morrison's JLA. So the Bat God is a concept, and at this time, and I think that was one of the reasons I easily disregarded this book, is because I prefer more of knowing what the fuck's going on kind of Batman. But anyway, we got new X-Men's on the stand, Ultimates on the stand, Ultimate Spider-Man's on the stand. A lot of Thundercats, Transformers, big cartoon franchises are in the top 10s.
Yeah, there's some good, cool stuff there.
Yeah. Neil Gaiman's up with 1602 is coming out at this time.
Oh, I actually have 1602. I like that book.
Yeah. So like it's a great time to read comics, and just stinking up the stands is fucking Jeff Loeb here. He's got 2 books in the top 10 at this time, like Batman, Superman with Ed McGuinness, and he's got this book, which is #1 with Jim Lee. And like, like we said in the conversation, it's just because it's the Jim Lee.
It's Jim Lee. Yeah, Jim Lee's the #1.
The only thing that knocks him out, I think, is Neil Gaiman. I think when 1602 comes out, it wins in the charts, if I remember correctly. Wouldn't surprise me.
So I said I had like a bit of an arguing point for this book, and I think that there's a chaos to it. That whether that's just pandering to the Batman audience to be like, Jim Lee is going to draw every single fucking one of your favorites. That's fine because it's like carnivalesque, but which I feel like is sort of a way you can take Batman, maybe the way that Joel Schumacher takes Batman, as like sort of a shit show. This is messier than the Tim Sale stuff, but I feel like there's a little bit of a, I don't know, it makes me feel like Jim Lee might have input, because his writing style seems a little different on this.
Jeff's writing style. Yeah. It's less, well, like the first thing to note about it is like it's noir is gone. Any pretense of this taking place in like the 1940s and 50s, gone, right? And so we're dealing with it's literally a different world, a different time, and
it's modern age.
And I think like that in itself is enough to explain the change in vibe. Strangely, I don't think it suits Jeff Loeb. I think he's maybe like that patina of like the Maltese Falcon and all that shit. I think that better suits him. Because when he operates in that vein in other books, like I've read a little bit of Hulk Gray with Tim Sale, which is the book that came out after this. That traffics in kind of that stuff as well, and it just draws you in.
Yeah, I do like the I don't know how do you feel about Thomas Elliot?
Oh, as the bad guy? Or
no,
as
just
a character?
I just as a character, I
Spoiler.
liked well,
Sorry,
this is his friend that's a doctor, right? That's a
yeah.
childhood friend. Almost like similar scenario where a parent dies anyway.
Oh, you mean like sort of his origins or whatever?
Yeah.
He's set up to be a sort of anti Bruce Wayne. Like he wanted his parents to die because they wouldn't give him what he wanted. And his vengeance again. But it's also it's petty, but it's no more petty and stupid than Batman's origin. And so I don't know why it bothers me so much.
And the guy's like a big beefy guy, and he's smart and capable, and he's ginger. That's always a problem.
Oh yeah, watch out.
And I threw that out. And then I like the painting. I don't know. I like the inclusion of that character. I like that off the start.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like it's nice to change the stakes of Batman and add, I don't know, like it just adds a friend. It adds like someone that could be hurt or killed or be problematic, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously, sadly, and for the ending of this book, that's all there was. It was like an introduction of a character that they ran through to the end and ends up like kind of being like an underskilled wacko at the end.
Yeah, he's way out of his depth. Even though he's managed to bring Batman to the brink, through all the like stupidest machinations and whatnot.
Even that though, that was mostly Edward Nygma.
Oh, and also okay. I don't want to get too, because also Harold's in the mix. You're like, by the time like everything is unraveled at the end, you're like, what the fuck kind of, how are we ever, you already said it, and it's typical of Jeff Loeb. Like, how are we ever going to solve that mystery? Like,
You
here's
couldn't,
a character. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they gave you the guy right in your face, and you were like,
Mhm.
"That's the fucking guy.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's gonna come
Mhm.
back around." And then they killed him, but they didn't just kill him; they proper killed him. They fucking killed him,
Yeah.
shot him dead, and
Mhm.
buried him, and
Yeah.
left no recourse for how that's even possible to dupe anyone in that way.
Yeah, and it makes Batman into a fucking idiot throughout. Um, One thing that people say about this book amongst the nerds is, 'cause like the Sci-Fi Channel. Why is Hush the best Batman story ever?
Mm.
And I was like, okay, interesting. Let's see what the Sci-Fi Channel has to say. And like they said, a lot of things, and none of them explained why it was a good comic. But I realized that it's like they were speaking in a sort of code. They were like, this book is so accessible. You can just dive right in. You got all the characters you want. Like this gets to what you were saying earlier about like it's just because Jim Lee drew all the different things, right? And there's like
It's just like a salad bar of all your favorites reimagined by Jim Lee, and like
yeah,
no stones left unturned.
yeah, yeah, and you
But
get
there's a chaos to Gotham City, so it's a brightened Gotham City, which a lot of people don't care for. But there's also there's just like a madness to this story. Like he's unhinged. He's got a fucking brain injury. He's
Mhm.
making out. He's mucking barn with Catwoman. What? That doesn't make any sense. He exposes his identity. What? He has a childhood friend that's fucking skewing his perception, and it's just like that. And when you include all the villains and stuff, is like it's a sort of its own imagining of Gotham.
Mhm.
And it's different in a way that like I guess that's a nice way to say it, is accessible. So it's exciting in a way that you can just sort of like you can be like, wow, like I can just get involved in Batman, and I just fucking did a Batman mystery, and I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, no, and like it gestures towards the concept of Batman like solving mysteries. Like that's Jeff Loeb's sauce throughout. Like he's not just a crime fighter; he's a detective. But like he is the worst detective. He's the if so, I can't say it enough. But that said, you get that sauce. You do get like the chaos of all of it. Like it is fun. Reading through it. It has an element of fun, and you had also said earlier about Jim Lee's like the flashbacks, the watercolor flashbacks.
Yeah,
Uh,
those are gorgeous.
yeah, they are, and I think that I can't confirm this. It's just kind of referenced slightly in the front, so I'll just take their word for it because it's an interview with Jim and Jeff. They like I think Jim like colored them, like actually watercolored these himself. Like full on watercolored them. Which is a really baller way of winning a $100 bet. When the bet is you can't do monthly comics anymore. He's like, "Fuck you, buddy. I'm not only gonna do monthly comics. I'm gonna watercolor in those motherfuckers."
I'm gonna do monthly comics, and I'm gonna do off the hinge art.
Uh-huh. And it's gonna get better as it goes on. I'm a little rusty, whatever, but like it's gonna be,
Well,
yeah, like it's. Yep.
there's an arguing point for him. This is a weird conversation. I guess he's probably one of the greatest, more modern artists of all time. Because I know when you look, when you read about the greatest comic artists of all time, there's a lot of schools of thought about
Mhm.
how sequential art works, the mechanics of it, and
Mhm.
who the real greats are, and that's very weird list. Sometimes I don't know if you've ever looked that up. I'm sure
No,
you
I
have.
haven't. I suspect I've seen such a list, but I
I
really.
bet you
Yeah.
feel. I bet you probably agree with a lot of them too. And then a lot of them I was like kind of surprised by. because there's not a lot of modern artists in the list.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd be kind of maybe that's a fun conversation for, because I'm really tempted to Google that now and just like completely derail everything.
Get into that another time, but I'm gonna go out on the end of a tree branch, and I'm gonna say Jim Lee is the greatest modern comic artist of our generation. I you know what? You probably disagree with me. Hey, maybe even put 10 people in front of him. That's fine, but I think that his sales are important. I think we've had that conversation one other time, but I think that there's a reason behind his sales, and that's just that this is something to fucking behold, like something to look at. And when you have that sequential art, grounding, it adds a stability to a wacky story like this. And that's part of the flow. Like you flip the pages, and you can just go through the whole story just so smooth. Like this didn't feel like if we read anything else in this volume, it would have been
12 issues,
slog. Yeah. Even the Long Halloween was a heavy feeling.
Yeah. Well, it had more panels for one. I would bet. I didn't do the Pepsi challenge on that, but so okay. I think Of Our Generation does a lot of work in those sentences. I think also that Jim Lee, like if you're going to talk about comics art, like what you're really saying, I think, is superhero comics art. And like if you got to put him in that category, and then fine. He's of a very long tradition. You got your Neil Adams, you got your John Byrne, you got your Jim Lee. You know, he's in that, starting with Alex Raymond way back when. You know, so like he's certainly like the best representative of that stream of naturalistic, sci-fi inflected action art. That's me being overly analytical on like where to place him, but like I agree. Like there's a reason that I proudly have the artist's edition of his old X-Men work, like those big fucking huge images with the black and white and stuff like that. Like that for me is when, you know, back when Jim Lee was hungry, that stuff's gorgeous. You know, like this is a lot of the time I wonder, like when I'm looking at this image of Lois Lane in The Office, and so as far as sequential, so it's the first time the Daily Planet, she's sitting at the desk. You can tell what's happening without the words. That's good. You know, she's typing, she gets the flowers, she hugs Bruce. He's sort of flirtatious. She's kind of, you know, and Superman's like, you know, over the edge, you know, feeling a little out.
That's a great sequence too. It's really fun. It's fun that I like the idea that Bruce Wayne would do that.
Yeah. Put a pin in that for a second though. These images are boring to look at, like as such though. Like
yes, like
as like straight up sequential art. Like there's these moments when like Jim's just not really suited for this type of scene. And like he both is and isn't, because it's like, okay, draw a pinup of Lois Lane, fucking you got it, boss. It's gonna be
right.
You want to see some gams? Here we go.
Yeah. Is anyone gonna get kicked in the face? No. Oof, this is gonna be a stiff couple pages for me.
Yeah. And so like it's not though. It's by again like very good, and by this point in the story, actually, I think Jim is finally firing on all the cylinders, and everything's starting to speed up and get like bigger and better and more legible, and the actions more interesting. I think it took until this Superman episode for that to happen.
Well, actually, my one of my favorite parts of the books, just previous to that scene, when when he kisses Catwoman, and the boys see the Green Lantern.
Yes, yeah.
In the city, I just dig that they follow him through the city, watching the fight, and then they get tuned up from Dad after the fact or whatever. But I just that's a nice little piece for their friendship. And
Him and Tommy.
And yeah, him and Tommy, and Tommy is like the info you need is there because he earlier in the book also basically like directly threatens Batman or Bruce Wayne to Alfred.
About what?
Which is just bizarro. He says it's dangerous out there. You shouldn't be out.
Right.
You know, and it's like it's not a subtext. It's like it's a veiled threat. That's a straight up like. So you know what I mean? Like you get hints, but I mean you can't fully kill someone and leave no shred of doubt that they're dead and continue on with your mystery. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, there's a number of ways in which this story could have been. Because I like the character of like this badass kid that Bruce knew and kind of forgot, like completely forgot about. Like it's so soap operatic. Like actually, I've got this long lost best friend that I never talked about up until this point.
Who's also a buff, womanizing, uber talented surgeon, and basically like a negative universe mirror image of me with my dad's skill set. What?
Yeah. He's like a Thomas Wayne, like an evil Thomas Wayne. Now that you put it, I think that the Jeff Loeb flavor, a lot of, like, you even get it in Zack Snyder. You know, like Martha. There's a lot of emphasis on the mom. You know, those pearls dropping, and the gun against her or whatever. You know, like the Batman as mama's boy, but in Jeff Loeb doesn't traffic in that. He's a like, this kid's like his dad, which is, you know, happy Father's Day, everybody.
Fuck
if you
yeah,
practice such a thing. It's just like
be a man. There you go.
Be a man. Practice Father's Day.
These guys are these are also, you know, depending on how you feel about this, is going to be like pretty fun for some you know, in terms of political correctness and world stage right now. If you want to see a couple alphas go at it, you look no further than us.
Right, you're talking about the Batman versus Superman fight. Yeah,
Batman and Superman, Batman and Tommy. Like these are fucking men doing manly shit.
And this is definitely a component of the popularity of this book. Like when the Sci-Fi Channel is just like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like yeah, it is a bunch of alphas going, like pathetic alphas going up against each other, and tits and ass all over the place, explosions,
tits and ass,
you know,
and big balls.
Yeah, that's right. And they're just like, is it? And those same motherfuckers will shit all over Michael Bay and say like, oh no, that's not art, that's not good. Okay, buddy. All right, everyone. I can't believe this horse shit. So upset. But this fight's a banger, man. When he fights Superman, I remember that.
Oh,
like
yeah. I remember
that 2-page spread where he like,
the best is the bottom panel. Not him.
Yeah, not now.
Yeah. And then Catwoman's laid out. She's been knocked unconscious, so we can now see yet another fantastic angle of her breasts. Just in case. Jim Lee lets you explore every angle you could imagine
of the female form
throughout
Absolutely.
the book. Just if that's something that's on your plate, you know, or something you need to have on your plate, you can. That's there for you too.
Yeah. For the dads, for all the dads out there,
for the old dads, you could go ahead.
That's what they used to say about all the Doctor Who back in the day. Like all the companions were all like hotties, and they were like, you know, it was literally, the producers referred to it as something for the dads.
Hey, listen, new companions, cute as hell.
That's right. Some. Well, it's not just for the dads anymore, but back in the day, that's how they referred to it.
It's okay for it to be for everybody, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I want everyone all over them. Fine, that's good.
Yeah.
You know who looks fucking dumb though?
Superman?
Is Harley Quinn. No. Okay, we'll go back to the Superman fight in a second, but humor me. Like, Jim Lee can't do a Harley Quinn. It's a
No,
little.
he's going like he's throwing back way farther than I'm comfortable with.
Well, this is what she looked like back then. Like, she's still new to comics in 2000.
Yeah, but no, time out. He's redesigned. First of all, he's using
Oh yeah, this is a redesigned costume thing?
he's using 1992 Batman
Uh-huh.
costume, which is a
Yeah.
weird color choice and weird choice, and
Yeah.
he's using more tights really than any type of armored Batman, which is a little odd, I think. And then he's fully redesigned Catwoman. He's fully redesigned Ivy. He's fully redesigned Croc. We got Thomas Elliott in there. Huntress is redesigned, and then
I
you're
don't
just
think
gonna
he
give me this
redesigned-
fucking wacky ass Harley.
Right, I see what you're saying. The Catwoman is not a redesign. I don't think she had a series written by Ed Brubaker at the time where she's dressed like that. Darwin Cook, I think, came up with that costume. That said, though, yeah, there's redesigns all over the place. Like, give me something. Like, and I don't want like slutty.
You don't need anything
Pardon me,
special.
empowered Harley Quinn.
Whoa.
I don't want or need that. I'm not asking for that in this instance. I just frankly, he should have just not drawn her. It's not working.
No, yeah, you just should have passed on it because it's just like I know the costume and I understand the time frame and everything, but I think it could have been a bit more muted or modernized.
Yeah, they could have done anything. Fuck, but I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
The action's still good though. Like her and Catwoman fighting, all those blurred images, that Daredevil shit. That's good stuff.
I like the Superman fight. The Superman fight's great.
Oh yeah, back to the Superman fight. Okay, so this gets back to my thing though about there's so many little, I guess you'd call them Easter eggs, but ultimately it's basically a nostalgia trip. Like one of the things also that makes this quote accessible is it ties into continuity, and then it also just gives all the fanboys, the current fanboys who just want to see that same fucking thing over and over and over, gives them exactly what they want.
I want to see Batman beat Superman Frank Miller style with a couple big splash Frank Miller looking pages.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him put the kryptonite ring on, just fucking knock his block off in a couple of panels and let me know that Batman can beat Superman.
It's the fucking best. And
That's it.
yeah, but not just that though. Think back to the when he's badly injured in the Crime Alley thing, when his rope gets cut, which dumb, but so he's all in when Alfred's looking at him in the medical bed, there's the 2-page spread. Why do I need a 2-page spread of Batman laid out in a medical bed? That's so weird.
Oh, you want to hear something funny? Actually, I showed Maddie this book. That's her favorite panel.
Oh, no kidding, huh? Well, it is pretty, there's the skull and everything. It's pretty fucking...
Yeah, it's got the X-ray going, and it's a lot to take in.
It's a weird choice. Okay, cool. I'm glad she's into it.
I was like, she's like, whoa, can we go back? I want to see that. And I was like, what, this? The X-ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, loves it.
But then you turn the page and he's doing the Morse code thing, but he's also it's Dark Knight Returns again. And then you turn the page and you got the news anchor people doing the you got the Batman fight. There was a couple other echoes in there. It's very prevalent in those first 2 issues though. It's he doesn't know what to do, Jim, with the Batman until he remembers. But yeah.
Yeah, him and Superman have their little bro off.
When did the Tower of Babel happen? JLA.
Well, that happened before that, well before this.
Yeah. What year was it? 2000. Yeah, and I think that's another what are you doing, Jeff? Well, I think it actually just goes to my point, which is the point of this is to do your big guitar riffs, your stadium rock Batman. What do you like? here's a cover of Frank Miller. And yeah, best Batman comic ever. So
yeah, I guess that's mean, bit mean.
yeah, it is mean. Yeah, it's true
that's
though.
Fun.
And
Here
then
we're at the opera. Here's your Harley Quinn that you're mad about. Yeah, it just looks so dumb.
Yeah. And then we get another complaint of mine, which is like, I don't like this. The way he draws the Joker, with that big nose, that big pointy nose.
Oh
Can't
no,
get behind it.
we got another fucking Bugs Bunny Joker coming down the pike.
Yeah, but it's not Bugs Bunny enough. But it is like you're right. Like he almost looks like an orangutan or something. Like Jim can't do cartoony. He's too sort of pseudo naturalist, right?
Yeah, I love watching Batman kick people in the face with the karate chop hand.
That's good stuff.
That's fucking nice. No one draws it like Jim. I'm going to find the Joker here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then we're getting all these references to like it's just a reference upon reference. Like, okay, you got your Killing Joke going on here.
So Tommy's dead. Joker's
yeah.
in on it though.
Yes, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
And then
that Joker's not in on it. It's so fucking dumb though. Like the gun that shot Tommy is fired by like the guy, basically the Red Hood guy, Clayface, I guess, but it's
right.
Commissioner Gordon's gun. Like,
and Batman, all he's seeing is red. He's finally gonna kill the Joker in this alleyway, which is another Dark Knight riff.
No, and it's now that I'm looking at it, and I made the connection between Killing Joke. Obviously, there's all the connections, all the explicit references to Killing Joke, but that last image. So he's like, stop, and it's before the full page spread, and there's that graffiti all in the background. Like that's all Killing Joke, and that punch, that huge haymaker, that's very Frank Miller. It's just like it's a double homage in that moment, and then he's going to pointlessly go through the process of deciding that whether he's going to kill the Joker or not,
which he's not going to.
Yes, but again, this book is accessible. Like I think this is what contributes to this category of accessibility. Like it goes through all
palm strike right straight to his girlfriend's bullet wound. He's really unhinged here.
Oh yeah, later when she tries to stop him, yeah.
Yeah, fucking hits her so hard in her bullet wound that she passes out. That's grimy. Yeah. That's street justice.
Yeah. Yeah, she really like does pass out like that, doesn't she? She swoons after that.
That sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're down. You're going to sleep. Yeah. You get punched in the bullet wound like that. Then he goes over. I do like the image of him like just like strangling him off in an alleyway, like Spawn kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Commissioner Gordon stops him, and there's a lot of talking. So like. Yeah, that whole issue was like, it's not a thing that maybe in the Jeff Loeb universe it needs to exist. Is that we have to remember this does take place in the Jeff Loeb universe, which is like adjacent. Universe. Yeah, it's like going to the Secret Identity universe where like all that shit was going on.
It's like buying the Meteor chocolate bar at the dollar store. That's not a Mars bar, but it could be.
Oh, I meant to say Identity Crisis. It's like going to the Identity Crisis universe.
It's a better analogy. Thomas Elliott's still dead in the alley. Dead as a doornail.
Just completely dead. No one. They bury him.
The Joker's been beaten within an inch of his life. Everyone's calmed down. Batman has as we saw in the beginning of the book, has a full heads-up display on this fucking suit. And you're telling me he doesn't know this guy's fucking got a ketchup pack going?
Never encountered Clayface before, yeah, and then the masked figure in the background. So we're like, okay, so who's the masked figure in this? Like, is it, is that Two-Face? because later on he unwraps his stuff. Like there's so much misdirection. Uh, yeah, I guess that is Two-Face, but why is it later not Two-Face in that same costume? I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
he
very
flips the
lightly.
coin at it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It's very lightly addressed that Two-Face is fixed by plastic surgery to the point where he's the most handsome bald man in the universe.
There's two handsome bald men in this story. You got the Lex Luthor.
And
He
then,
just looks like Lex Luthor.
and then he just turns good. Like
Well, he's
that's just so the handling of Two-Face was so lazy.
And considering where, like, again, this is the Jeff Loeb universe, you would imagine that he would just make more hay out of it. Like, I don't. A lot of choices made. I don't think it really mattered. I don't think it mattered to them at all what the mystery was. Like, because they're clearly sort of chucking and diving based on what the fans are saying, and like the aesthetic experience of this quote unquote mystery is like, I don't know it's like. I'm thinking it's kind of like Luke Skywalker flying in the end of the first Star Wars movie. He's like the mystery is meant to be like this high speed like bomber mission where you like dodge obstacles and get like things firing at you in the background or whatever, and like it doesn't really matter what is happening in the meanwhile as long as like at the end you just drop a big one.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much like Bruce Wayne Catwoman canoodling, which I feel like is a weird guilty pleasure that Batman gets to make out with a girl.
You know
like,
what, man?
It's just
It should
hyper
happen a lot more.
heteroizes Batman, and then it goes
Yeah.
right straight. Now I'm heading into Ra's al Ghul, which the cover is sweet because we're just gonna riff off that book that I like. Remember, we were just talking about that one.
Oh yeah, well actually they're riffing off Neil Adams. Like that comic was a ripoff of a it's a double ripoff.
Triple ripoff.
Yeah, they're going back to the Denny O'Neil Neil Adams era.
Yeah, and then we're gonna jump onto a boat. We got Talia going. We got a little sexual tension happening there.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna hit the cave. We're gonna find the sword. We're gonna have an argument, and then we're gonna go straight in the desert and have a sword fight with topless Raz.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, Catwoman's gonna get her ass kicked by Lady Shiva. Always happy to see Lady Shiva.
Lady Shiva fucked her up. Lady Shiva ruined Catwoman's life.
Very, very hot depiction of Talia al Ghul. Really, really into it. I mean, but he's going full Neil Adams, so.
Yeah, true. I like the Catwoman beating by Lady Shiva with Talia al Ghul tied to a chair, kind of like a cuck situation, like triple woman on woman. A lot to take in.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, this is like Danger Girl shit, man. This is
this is some good stuff. This is some Gen 13 action here.
Yeah. Hits her with a chair. Fucking.
Yeah, everyone's butt is shining.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Yeah. Well, it's exactly.
And he finds Catwoman and she's like fucking dismembered.
Who did this?
That beating she got was rough, though.
Yeah, man. Well, that's what I wanted. Like, you know what? I loved Lady Shiva, and I was really glad to see her get the due respects that she deserves. I love this idea of like the ultimate martial artist in the DC universe is a lady, a vicious lady. Normally,
she did her in
drawn,
like not drawn that hot.
Oh, like. Yeah, well, she doesn't look like this. Like this isn't. I was like, that's Lady Shiva. Like she's
sure.
There's a long tradition of what she looks like, and this woman is not her. This is. I'm willing to accept it because she looks like a version of Zealot or something, right? So. Yeah. That even okay, and another homage. So they do that thing with the. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm paranoid now. The another homage later on. So they're Batman's in the cave interlude, the cave, uh, and she's looking at his back with the scars or whatever. Like that's from a really excellent Batman story by what's this fucking guy's name? Oh, I'm not gonna Alan Bennett or something. Like this is from a Scarecrow story. The first time that Catwoman and him are together, and there's all this romantic tension between them, and they end up kissing and like going off. It's kind of an Elseworlds world story. But he's changing his shirt behind her, and she turns around. She's like, "Good Lord, the scars!" And this was Alex Ross, referenced this in those like those Batman images with all the scars on the back or whatever. The funny thing is that scars are never depicted; they're left to the imagination, which is like in its typical fan culture to, well, what would that really look like? Like let's draw that out. And he doesn't even look that bad. Like what scars? I don't see any scars in this fucking pack.
Yeah, that's from snowboarding anyway. Relax.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what.
I don't know the way Alex Ross drew it though, in that typical.
Oh God, yeah, that was like
Norman Rockwell way, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrific. Like horrific. That's like he was like lashed in Scotland or whatever back in the 1700s.
Yeah.
Which that would track, like you say, but.
Oh yeah, well it makes sense as a thing, but like it goes to the sort of like sadism of the fan base. Like it's all costumes and stuff. Like like to talk about BDSM is like really very appropriate with Batman. He's all black leather. He's got his hot black leather chick. They're fighting each other, scratching each other, punching each other, and then fucking. And we thrilled to the image of Batman taking damage. Scott Snyder definitely knew that. He really liked to put Batman through the ringer. And
just give him a beat down.
Yeah. There's something about like just giving Batman just fucking kick him. Like the fan base just gets so rowdy. They don't, but they're able to like express it through their sexual desire for the hot babes. But yeah, there's a complex sexuality at well, it's not even actually that complex. At like not driving this, but like definitely driving the fan base towards this material. Like this has been reprinted so much. There was even I read this article like stop reprinting Hush.
Don't stop reprinting Hush.
Just keep going.
Give me more supplementary Babe thumbnails.
Yeah.
It's just great. There is a problem with showing scarred up Bruce though. Like you say, there's a direction you can take certain stories, but then there's also like there's a direction you could go where you would have to take away any appearances as Bruce Wayne due to scars and beatings.
Yeah.
Which just
like why is it only his back? Like
it would be his face would be fucking mangled, his lips would be mangled, his nose would be broken 25 times. He'd just
goodness, yeah.
He'd be a fucking heinous monster. Like his hands would be all fucking swollen and mutilated. He'd be, and it's just that can't be, or else this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah. He should be like Chase Bannon out there, like timeless, doing out there punching commies.
I'm interested in that as a story though. If anyone was ever to do that, I'd be down for it.
Oh, you mean this old Alan Burnett one that I'm looking at?
Like a beaten.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like a Bruce Wayne that can't even go in public.
Right. Just like completely done. Yeah, man. Like Mickey Rourke is that guy's name? Yeah, it would just be like it'd be like what happened to Mickey Rourke? Or like Mickey Rourke Batman, which like that's a version. I think that's Frank Miller's version. Like Frank's version of Batman didn't stay pretty, and he didn't worry about getting ugly, and definitely as like Frank himself got more insane. That's
Yeah, it's true. And his Batman also didn't he didn't he like almost stopped being Bruce Wayne.
yeah, like later on by
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they just called him Bruce, but he was like, I guess
He's
he
just
no
like-
like maybe he didn't.
He's just like an old
stopped
nutcase in a cave.
Yeah, but like he found his level, man. That's like that's what happens when a billionaire is left to his own devices. There's something very honest about that.
It's true. True.
Yeah.
An angle that we actually hadn't talked about, if not for Hush.
Oh, about you can uncover a lot from this one. I like his use of Robin comes in again characteristically late. Like why is he like, and if you're going to have a story that's going to play off the idea of Jason Todd's demise, like one, you should probably talk about that a bit sooner. Like that, because basically it's like before they start revealing, quote unquote revealing that it's Jason Todd, like it's only the issue before that any of that shit is evoked again. Like the Nightwing and the Robin and all that stuff. Maybe it's a neat trick. Maybe it works well in a monthly book.
I think so, because I
Yeah.
think in the monthly book, I remember the Jason Todd issue, and then they left you on like a cheap cliffhanger, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And you could sit around and wander around and talk about it for a month.
Yes. Yeah. And well, like, which they did. Wizard Comics. I think Wizard magazine still existed at this time. Like maybe I'm wrong about that, but basically Wizard is the incarnation of like the fan base that praises this for its accessibility. Yeah, this time you lose. I think that would have been so much better as a villain though, and it would have kind of made sense. Like I would have accepted like the Thomas Elliot introduction and like this like complete discarding of him. It wouldn't have made as satisfying like an emotional arc, I guess, but I would have been like, oh, okay, this is cool. Yeah, Batman gets beat up by Jason Todd, who's been resurrected by Ra's al Ghul. Awesome. That could work. And it's that high soap opera thing still too, right? But then it would have to be a completely different story.
Not
and so
really. There's barely any turnaround from this. This is the story until the very is it the very last issue or the last two issues?
No, I think it's just it's two issues. We got your cliffhanger. We have an issue where we think that it's Jason Todd. You're not the Robin who died, and then it's revealed to be Clayface, and then we're moving on to Harold, the developmentally disabled individual that was also a creative genius who Batman kept in his fucking basement to build all of his toys. Like, this is a Marv Wolfman character that has just been resident. People worked, I think people actively worked to ignore the existence of Harold as a concept, and Jeff just brings it back simply to murder him. And
just brings it back for a 2-page full explanation of how Batman felt like he was doing this guy a great help by having him build shit in his basement.
He knew about the cave. Yeah. Who approached you? Yeah. Like how much, like, what I'm saying that you would have had to restructure the story to get rid of Thomas Elliot, or to like not get rid of him because he would have been an excellent red herring. You would have had to just introduce Robin much earlier. Like the dynamic of Robin and the loss of Jason Todd and stuff, to make that particular story work. But
and
I
they
think it
had the weirdest part. They had the option because they were doing the Joker flashbacks.
Yeah, they had. Oh man, so many opportunities, so many choices made. Like, and each one was more as crassly commercial as possible throughout. Like, this was a smash and grab. Jim was coming out of retirement. Like, he didn't just want to win a $100 bet. He wanted to get a $1 million paycheck. Even though he was the creative director of, like, what was his I don't know what his title was in 2002. Probably wasn't actually, he was still dealing with Wildstorm at that point, but he basically owned his own company, and he was just, I imagine that he was recently purchased by DC, and this is his opportunity to come out and just make another big payday, man. Another Heroes Reborn.
Well, I mean, great job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he picked a great person to do it with, old Jeff. But yeah, like, again, my point though is that it's like he's just fucking around with the stock market. It's almost like insider trading. I don't know how that analogy would work, but it feels like it. Like, he's rigged the system in his favor somehow. Like, he owns the company. That is, and he just sells all this shit to us. Gobble it up. Yum 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 yum.
I like the implant moment from Thomas
Burn
Elliott.
it.
And he just fucking sizzles in his
Yeah.
chair.
Yeah.
Just clutches the arm on his chair while Superman burns a fucking implant out of the back of his skull.
And that's the getting back to the improvement of Jim Lee throughout this. Like, that's a great sequence. Get rid of all the words. You can tell what happened. You can tell very well, and it's, you know, maybe because it takes place in a cave and it's amongst men. I don't know. No, I see what it is. There's more panels. There's more There's more information on the page, sequential information, and that's good. You know, like, there's a lot of it actually now that I'm looking at it. And yeah, I mean, like, but then you turn the page and then you're like, oh, there's no information on this fucking page at all, which is funny because it's Edward Nygma.
He goes through the whole questionnaire with him.
Yeah.
He's,
yeah. Can you explain the plot to the audience, please? What the fuck just happened, Edward?
Then he punches him in the face. He fell.
Yeah. And then it's okay. So we complained that the Riddler was basically a fucking idiot in all the books, like all the other Jeff Loeb books, and this is their response to that. I'm pretty sure. I think they even say it the opening material.
This is the redemption of the Riddler?
Yeah. He was behind it all this time. Somehow he did all this stuff, but still, Tommy Elliott's still involved. Like, it's not. Once again, Jeff Loeb's playing that. Like, there was actually 7 masterminds, and so all the theories are right.
Oh God! And Tom Elliott got shot in both shoulders by Two-Face, so his arms will never be the fucking same. They'll just be like noodles.
Yeah, well, you know, a little surgery, you're good.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. He managed to swim away. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe
yeah, you're right. No, ta-ta. Yeah. Then,
you'd never be the same.
And so we end off there. So the whole thing has been like this budding romance between Batman and Catwoman. It is in a way a continuation of what we saw from like Long Halloween and Dark Victory and all that stuff. Although I would have liked more continuity. It felt like they were doing this story. Jeff was doing this story without any reference even to. No, he wasn't, because the Two-Face thing's still there. So he's obviously referencing the older work. Anyway, it just felt like they were pretending that it was brand new. And I think to its detriment, because like fine, they're always horny for each other, but like why this next evolution, this next step between the two of them? You know, like it's not sold very well. And so even Batman's skeptical of it. And then so they close down the, you know, like, actually, I'm not actually that into you by the very end. You know, like,
I'm scared we were poisoned the whole time and it was fake. So get lost.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. Get the hell out of here. Some other writer creative team's coming in here, so I got to clean the slate.
Someday. The rest of the day,
Mhm.
I'll be alone.
Yeah, back to being a fucking poor rich guy. Which is so. I will give Jeff Loeb credit for catching a vibe that is, Tom King's gonna mine that Batman Catwoman relationship. He's basically gonna take that thing from that Alan Burnett story that I was alluding to. He's gonna take like this kind of thing from not specifically from Hush, but like Hush is emblematic of that dynamic between the two of them. It used to be much more prevalent when like Doug Mensch and shit were writing the book. Like anyway, and just like make hay out of it. Tom King makes excellent hay out of it. His, whatever you think out of the story in general, like good love story. It's good. Tom does the love stories. What did you think of they tacked on an extra 4 pages at the end of this?
I don't know what that was. I don't remember
right.
when they did that.
Yeah, was it for 2020? It was specifically for this.
He swims by his buddy's corpse.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes underwater, and then Hush comes out of the water. He's wearing body armor, actually, right there, so I can understand why his shoulders work now.
Specifically on his shoulders, as you do.
Yeah, they're like, don't worry, his arms are okay.
Yeah,
just noticed that just now, actually.
Yeah,
and then I guess I don't know, whatever. Joker and Harley. This is useless.
Yeah, it is. To be continued, man. To be continued. The story's not done. There's more money to be made.
That's a special sampler for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool art. I mean, again, there you go.
Well, actually, I think it's kind of poor. Like some of it's kind of like, I don't know. It doesn't. I can't put my finger on it. But it's something about it is like really too tight or whatever. Like, who am I supposed to like it? Yeah, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but there's just the way it's drawn. It's maybe Jim's just kind of fucking around with new styles. But look at Batman, like his arched back as he's got his little booties flying through the water or whatever. Like, what the fuck am I looking at here? The anatomy looks all weird. Like some of it is typical Jim Lee, and some of it just like doesn't sit right with me at all. I can't make it out. Anyway,
like you say, I wouldn't say it's prime.
Yeah. Well,
but it's definitely him.
Hey Jim, we need you want to make some more money, huh? You got that? Just draw this 4 pages for us. It's fine.
Yeah, I would have preferred more Catwoman.
Yeah, why do I want to see Batman swimming around in a submarine or whatever? Like, give me a taste of actually something. Oh, how did the bad guy survive? I don't need that explanation. How does the Joker survive falling into a vat all the time? I don't know. That's not what I'm here for, man. I'm here for the hot babes and the action. I think that's been established.
It's true. Yeah, we would have been better off with the Catwoman riding on Poison Ivy's shoulders.
Just for 4 pages?
Something like that.
Just talking about nothing. Just like, it could have been scripted by Neil Gaiman too. I would have accepted that. Just like they could have had one of those typical nonsense fucking conversations between women that he always loves to script.
Or maybe I would have gone with like maybe Lois like daydreaming at her desk about Bruce.
Oh yeah, that's right. Frankly, anything would have been preferable to like. I feel
Written
nothing
by Frank
like
Miller.
Yeah, just something, just attack at the end. A little special treat for like real fans like us. But yeah. I don't know.
I think we got to the bottom of this, and I think it should stay on your shelf.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now that it's tenuous. This thing is tenuous. It's hanging by a thread as to whether or not I throw this thing in the fucking garbage. I fucking hate this book. And yet there's so much to like about it, so I guess it'll just stick around and I can fucking hate read it from time to time and enjoy its accessibility. Just enjoy how accessible it is.
That's nice.
Mhm.
Now, all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.